What if a small act of kindness, something you did every day without thinking, was actually a test? A test that could change your entire life? What if the person you trusted the most was hiding a secret so big it could destroy everything you knew about them? This is the story of Maya. And this is the story of a truth that took 10 years to tell. On a cold morning in November, Maya was walking down the street with her 8-year-old son, Ethan. They were going to his school. Maya worked as a cleaner at an office building. Her job was hard, her pay was small, but she loved her son more than anything in the world. Ethan held her hand as they walked. He was a quiet boy. He did not speak much, but he smiled a lot that morning. A man was sitting on the corner of their street. He was asking for money. His name was David. He had no home. His clothes were old and dirty. People walked past him every day. No one stopped. No one gave him anything. Maya saw him. She stopped walking. She looked at David for a long time. Then she opened her small bag. She took out $5. Her own money. Money she needed for her lunch. She gave it to David. "Thank you," David said. He looked confused. "Why did you help me?" Maya did not have a good answer. She did not think about it. She just did it. She just knew he was hungry, and she knew she could give him something. "My son," she said, pointing at Ethan. "I want him to grow up knowing that we help people, even when we don't have much." "We still help." Ethan was looking at his mother. He was watching what she did. That night, Ethan asked her a question. "Mama, why did you give that man your money?" Maya sat down next to him on their small bed. Their apartment was very small, 1 bedroom, 1 kitchen, 1 bathroom, but it was clean. It was their home because Maya said, "Everyone deserves help. Even when things are hard for us, we can still make things less hard for someone else." Ethan smiled. He did not really understand, but he believed his mother. This was just a normal day. Or so Maya thought. But someone was watching the next morning. There was a knock on Maya's door. It was very loud. Very hard. Maya was getting Ethan ready for school. She opened the door and saw 2 men. They looked angry. They looked mean. One of them had a scar on his face. "You live here?" The man with the scar asked. Maya's heart started to beat very fast. "Yes," she said. "This is my home. This street is in our area." The man said, "Everyone who lives here pays protection money. You know what that means?" Maya did not answer. She did know. She had heard stories about this, but she thought it would not happen to her. She thought they would not come to her door. "We come every Friday." The second man said, "You give us money, then nothing bad happens to your home. Nothing bad happens to your son." It was a threat. It was a clear threat. "Do not have much money," Maya said. Her voice was shaking. $200. The man with the scar said, "Every Friday, starting this Friday. Do you understand?" Maya nodded. She was too scared to say anything else. The men left. She closed the door and locked it. Then she sat down on the floor and she started to cry. Ethan came out of his bedroom. "Mama, are you okay?" Maya wiped her tears. She did not want her son to see her afraid. "I am fine." "Baby," she lied. "I am fine." But she was not fine. $200 every Friday. It was money she did not have. Maya worked hard. She cleaned 10 office buildings. She worked from 5 in the morning until 9 at night. She made enough money to pay her rent, to buy food, to keep her son safe and warm. But $200? Every week? That was almost $800 a month. That was money she could not find anywhere. On Friday morning, Maya was very nervous. She did not know what to do. Should she give them the money? Should she go to the police? But what if the police could not help? What if these men were too powerful? She was thinking about this when someone knocked on her door again. But this time, it was different. It was an old woman. "Hello," the old woman said. "My name is Mrs. Chen. I live 2 floors down. I need to talk to you about something very important." Maya was confused. She did not know this woman. "Can I come inside?" Mrs. Chen asked. Maya let her in. They sat in the small living room. Mrs. Chen was looking at Maya very carefully, like she was studying her. "The men came to you," Mrs. Chen said. It was not a question. She already knew. "Yes," Maya said. "How did you know?" "They came to everyone," Mrs. Chen said. "But there is something you need to know. Something about your husband." Maya's face went pale. "I do not have a husband." Maya said slowly, "My husband died in the war, 10 years ago before Ethan was born. I was pregnant when he died, and I never saw him again." Mrs. Chen was quiet for a long moment. "His name was James," Mrs. Chen said. James Martinez. Maya could not move. She could not speak. She could barely breathe. "How do you know my husband's name?" Maya asked. "Because Mrs. Chen said, my son was in the military with him, and before your husband died, he saved my son's life. He ran into danger. He got my son out. My son lived. But your husband did not come home." Tears started running down Maya's face. "Your husband was a hero," Mrs. Chen continued. "A real hero. He did not think about himself. He thought about his brothers. He thought about people he did not even know. Just like you did for David. I did not know anyone was watching," Maya said. "I was watching," Mrs. Chen said. "I saw you give that man money. I saw you teach your son about kindness. And I saw your husband in you. I saw him very clearly." Mrs. Chen reached into her bag. She took out an envelope. A very thick envelope. "My son never forgot what your husband did," Mrs. Chen said. "My son became a businessman. He became very successful. He made a lot of money, but he always said he owed his life to your husband. So he asked me to find you. He asked me to help you. To make sure you and your son never struggled." Maya was shaking. "I cannot." "Take this," she said. "Your husband would have taken it," Mrs. Chen said. "Not for himself, but for his son. For you. He would have wanted you to have a better life." Mrs. Chen put the envelope on the table between them. "This is enough money to pay those men for 1 year," Mrs. Chen said. "This is enough money for you to move to a safe neighborhood. This is enough money to start a new life. And my son sent me another message. He said if you need help, you call him any time for anything." Mrs. Chen wrote down a phone number on a piece of paper. But there was still one more secret. One more truth that Maya did not know. That same Friday afternoon, the 2 men came back to collect the money. Maya had it. Ready. $200. Exact change. She handed it to them without saying anything. The man with the scar took the money. He smiled a cold smile. "Good," he said. "You are smart. You understand how things work." After they left, Maya sat down and called the number Mrs. Chen had given her. A man answered. "Hello," he said. "My name is Michael Chen. My mother told me about you. She said you wanted to help me." Maya said. "Yes," Michael said. "She told me what you did, how you gave that man money. Even though you did not have much, I want to know something. Why did you do that? Did you know he was my mother's neighbor? Did you know someone was watching?" "No," Maya said. "I did not know. I just did it. It felt like the right thing to do." Michael was quiet for a very long time. "Do you know what my mother told me?" Michael asked. "She told me that when my mother was in the hospital 5 years ago, a nurse came to her room every night. This nurse was kind. This nurse was gentle. This nurse held her hand and told her stories about her son. This nurse made her feel less lonely. I do not understand. Maya said. That nurse was you. Michael said. I asked my mother to find out who the nice nurse was. And she discovered that before you worked as a cleaner, you worked at the hospital, and you worked the night shift, and you took care of patients who had no family. You held their hands, you talked to them, because you knew they were lonely. Maya remembered. She did remember a kind old woman in the hospital. She remembered sitting with her. My mother said you never knew she was my mother. Michael continued. You were kind to her because she was alone. Not because of who she was. Not because of what I had done. You were just kind. Your mother was a sweet woman. Maya said I was sad when she left the hospital. She talked about you every day, Michael said. For 5 years. Every single day she told me, Michael, I met someone who is like your father's friend. Someone who thinks of others before themselves. That nurse was the reason my mother lived those 5 extra years feeling happy, instead of scared. Tears were falling down Maya's face. And then, my mother saw you on our street. Michael said, and she recognized you. She saw you give money to a homeless man. She saw you teach your son about kindness, and she realized something. What? Maya whispered. She realized that my father's friend, the man who saved his life, had a son, and that son had a mother, and that mother was the same woman who took care of my mother in the hospital. And she knew. She knew that your husband would have wanted to help you. She knew he would have been proud of. The next morning, police officers came to the building where the protection money ring was operating. Michael had called the police. He gave them information. He gave them proof the men were arrested. The protection money scheme was shut down, but that was not the biggest thing that happened. 2 weeks later, Maya received a letter in the mail. It was from the military. Inside, the letter was a medal that her husband had earned. A medal for bravery, for heroism, for saving lives. The letter said that they were sorry. They were sorry for the delay. They were sorry for the pain, but they wanted to honor her husband's memory. They wanted her to know that he was a hero, and they wanted Ethan to know it too. 1 month later, Maya moved to a new apartment. A safe apartment. In a safe neighborhood, Michael Chen helped her pay for it. He also helped her go back to school. She got training to become a counselor. She wanted to help people who were struggling. Like she had struggled, Ethan started a new school, a good school with good teachers. He made friends. He became happy in a way he had never been before. But the biggest change was something else. 1 year later, on a cold morning in November, exactly 1 year after Mrs. Chen came to her door, Maya was walking down the street with Ethan. They were not going anywhere special. They were just walking. They saw the homeless man again. David, the man Maya had given $5 to. The man who had started everything. He was sitting on a different corner. He still had no home. He still had no money. Ethan pulled on his mother's hand. Mama, Ethan said, "That is the man you helped. That is the man from the beginning." Maya looked at her son. She looked at this man, and she understood something very important. Kindness never stops. Kindness creates more kindness. Kindness changes people. Kindness changes the world. She stopped walking. She took out her wallet. But this time, she did not just give him money. She sat down next to him. She talked to him. She listened to him. She found out his name. She found out his story. She found out that he was sick, and he needed help. Maya called Michael Chen. She asked him if he could help David, and Michael said, yes. Michael always said yes. David got medicine, David got a home, David got a chance to start over. 3 years later, David was working at Michael's company. He was doing well. He was happy. And he never forgot the woman who gave him $5. The woman who treated him like a human being. The woman who saw him when everyone else looked away. One day, David asked Maya to have lunch with him. I wanted to thank you, David said. I wanted you to know what you did for me. If you did not stop that day, I do not know where I would be. I might not be alive. Maya smiled. My husband once saved someone's life. Maya said, he did not think about it. He did not wait. He just did it. And it created a chain of kindness. That chain saved my life. That chain brought me here. That chain brought us together. David did not understand the whole story, but he understood the feeling. He understood that one moment of kindness could change everything. And Ethan? Ethan grew up watching his mother. He grew up learning that kindness matters. He grew up knowing that one person can make a difference. When Ethan was 16 years old, he asked his mother a question. Mama, why are you always helping people? Why do you give so much when we did not have much? Maya looked at her son. She took his hand. Because she said, someone helped me when I needed help the most. Someone saw me. Someone believed in me. And I realized that we are all connected. Your father taught me this. He died helping someone he did not know. A stranger. And that stranger's family helped me. And I helped a homeless man. And that homeless man's life was saved. And now he is helping others. Like a chain, Ethan said. Exactly, Maya said. Like a chain. And every time we do something kind, we make that chain stronger. We make it longer. We change more. Lives, Ethan smiled. He understood. 15 years later, Ethan was a doctor. A young doctor at a big hospital. He worked hard. He helped patients. He treated everyone with respect. Even the patients with no money. Even the patients with no family. One night, a homeless man came to the hospital. He was very sick. He needed help. Ethan took care of him. Ethan stayed with him through the night. Ethan made sure he was comfortable. The homeless man asked Ethan why he was being so kind. Because my mother taught me, Ethan said. My mother taught me that everyone deserves help. Everyone deserves to be seen. Everyone deserves to be treated with dignity. The homeless man started to cry. Your mother sounds like a good woman, he said. She is, Ethan said. She is the best woman I know. And Maya. Maya became a counselor who helped women in difficult situations. Women who were scared. Women who had no hope. Women who thought their lives were over. She helped them find their strength. She helped them find their voice. She helped them build new lives. And she always told them the same thing. Your life is not over. Your story is not finished. And sometimes, the most unexpected person will come and show you a new path. Sometimes the kindness of a stranger will change everything. So never give up hope. Never stop being kind. Never stop believing that tomorrow can be better than today. But here is the real truth of this story. The real truth is not about the money. The real truth is not about the protection money or the police or the medals or the new apartment. The real truth is about something much deeper. Years later, when Maya was old, she sat down and wrote a letter to her husband. She knew he could not read it. She knew he was gone, but she needed to write it anyway. James, she wrote, I know you never got to meet our son. I know you never got to see him grow up, but I want you to know that I see you in him every single day. I see your kindness. I see your strength. I see your love for people. You do not even know. And I want you to know that your life meant something. Your death meant something. Your sacrifice was not in vain. Because one man's family helped my family. Because one act of kindness created a chain that is still growing today. Our son is a doctor. He saves lives every day. And he does it because he learned from me. and I learned from you, and you learned from people who loved you and believed in you. So this is what I understand now. We are all connected, every single one of us, and what we do, no matter how small, creates ripples, creates waves, changes the future in ways we can never imagine. I love you, James. I always did, and I always will. Thank you for teaching me that love is the most powerful force in the world. Thank you for showing me that one person can change everything. And Ethan, when he was old enough to understand, asked his mother to tell him about his father. So Maya told him everything. She told him about a young soldier who ran into danger, who thought of others before himself, who died so that a stranger could live. And she told him that this young soldier's sacrifice was not forgotten. His sacrifice created a wave that touched so many lives, that saved so many lives, that gave so many people hope. Ethan listened to this story, and he realized something. He realized that his father was alive, not in body, but in spirit, in the kindness that his mother showed, in the choices she made, in the lives she touched, in the way she taught him to love people. His father was alive in him. So the question is not what if a small act of kindness was a test. The real question is deeper. The real question is, what if every act of kindness, no matter how small, is actually a thread in a larger tapestry? What if everything we do creates a pattern that we cannot see? What if our lives are all connected in ways we do not understand? What if the person you helped 10 years ago is now helping someone else? What if the person you were kind to is now showing that kindness to their own children? What if the words you spoke to a lonely person are now being spoken to another lonely person by them? Maya lived to be 87 years old. She lived to see her grandchildren grow up. She lived to see them choose kindness. She lived to see them help others. She lived to see the chain continue. On the day she died, there were so many people at her funeral. Patients she had counseled people. She had helped families she had supported, people who had heard her story and been changed by it. Michael Chen gave a speech. "This woman saved my life," he said. "Not with a gun or a sword. She saved my life by showing me that one person can make a difference. She showed me that kindness is not weakness. Kindness is the greatest strength we have." David, the homeless man, was there too. He had a home now. He had a family. He had a job. He had hope. "This woman changed my life," David said. "When I was nothing, when I was nobody, she saw me. She treated me like I mattered. And because of her, I know that I matter. And I have spent the rest of my life trying to give that gift to others. And Ethan?" Ethan stood up and told the crowd about his mother. "My mother once told me that we are all connected, that what we do creates ripples that we cannot see. She was right. She was so right. My mother gave $5 to a homeless man. That one act created a chain. That chain saved her life. That chain saved my life. That chain changed the lives of so many people. My mother was not rich. She did not have power. She did not have fame. She had nothing but a simple belief that every person matters, that every person deserves kindness, that every person deserves love, and that belief changed the world. At least, it changed my world. It changed the world of everyone who knew her. But the most powerful moment came at the very end of the funeral. A young girl, maybe 7 or 8 years old, came up to Ethan. She was holding a piece of paper in her hand. "Dr. Martinez." She said, "I wanted to give this to you," and opened the paper. It was a drawing, a beautiful drawing of a woman holding a boy's hand. Underneath the drawing, it said, "Thank you for teaching me that kindness matters." Ethan looked at the girl. "Who are you?" he asked. "I am the granddaughter of David." The girl said, "My grandfather told me the story of your mother. He told me how she helped him when he had nothing, and he asked me to tell you that because of her, he could help my father. And because of my father, he could help me. And now I want to help others too. Just like your mother did." Ethan held the drawing to his chest, and he cried. Because he understood that his mother's life had not ended. His mother's kindness had not died with her. His mother's love was still alive. It was still changing people. It was still creating waves. And it would continue. It would continue for generations. It would continue as long as people remembered her story. As long as people chose kindness. As long as people believed that one person can make a difference. So what is the lesson of this story? The lesson is not complicated. The lesson is this: you do not know what your kindness will do. You do not know whose life you will change. You do not know what future will be created by one small act of compassion. Maya never knew that she would help Michael. Chen's mother in the hospital, Maya, never knew that Michael Chen would help her when she needed help. Maya never knew that her action would create a chain that would touch hundreds of lives. But she did it anyway. She did it because it was right. She did it because she believed that every person matters, and because she believed this, because she acted on this belief, the world became a little bit better, a little bit kinder, a little bit more full of hope. So the real question is not, what if a small act of kindness was a test? The real question is, what will you do today that will change someone's life tomorrow? What small act of kindness will you give? What stranger will you help? What person who feels invisible will you see? Because what you do today creates tomorrow. What you do today creates the future. What you do today creates the chain that will go on for generations. And perhaps when you are old and tired and you look back on your life, you will see it. You will see all the lives you touched. You will see all the chains you created. You will see how your simple kindness changed the world. Even if you never knew it at the time, even if you never saw it coming, even if you were just doing what felt right, that is the power of kindness. That is the power of love. That is the message of Maya's life. Her husband died a hero. But Maya lived a hero, not with medals or ceremonies or big moments, but with every single day, with every small act of kindness, with every person she helped, with every life she touched. She was a quiet hero, a simple hero, a hero that nobody knew about until one day, someone remembered. Someone told the story. Someone passed it on. And suddenly, her heroism was not hidden anymore. It was visible. It was powerful. It was real. This is the story of Maya Martinez, a woman who believed that one person can make a difference, woman who proved it every single day. A woman whose kindness changed the world, not all at once, not in a big moment, but slowly, quietly, one act at a time, one person at a time, one day at a time, until the world was different, until lives were saved, until hope was restored. And it all started with a simple decision. A simple decision to give $5 to a stranger. A simple decision to see someone that everyone else looked away from. A simple decision to believe that kindness matters, and it does matter. It always matters. It will always matter. So remember this. Remember that you never know what one act of kindness will do. Remember that you are part of a chain of kindness that connects all of us together. Remember that what you do today will create tomorrow for someone else, and most importantly, remember that you matter, that your kindness matters, that your life matters, because someone out there needs what you can give. Someone out there needs to be seen. Someone out there needs to know that they are loved. Be that person for them. Be like Maya be, brave enough to be kind, Be strong enough to love. Be brave enough to change the world. One small act at a time. This story is not just about Maya. This story is about you. This story is about all of us, because we are all part of the chain. And the question is not, what was Maya's test? The question is, what is your test? What will you do when someone needs help? What will you do when no one is watching? What will you do when it costs you something? Will you look away or will you see them? Will you help them? Will you believe that one act of kindness can change everything? Because it can. It really can. And someone is waiting for you to show them that truth. Someone is waiting for your kindness. Someone is waiting for you to change their world. Do not make them wait. Do it today. Do it now. Be like Maya. Be the hero in someone else's story. Because that is the real magic of kindness. That is the real power of love. That is the real meaning of a life well lived.